Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the CHALL, Rovers Till I Die, Super Danny Schofield. What a win for the lads. 3-1 at Blundell Park. Just got back from Grimsby. And wow, what a showing by the lads tonight, or today. Now, before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell to name this YouTube video, socials at the bottom of your screen, and description down below. Carl Royal will be renamed to Cal Cafu for the next week. Harrison Biggins will be renamed to Kevin De Biggins or Harrison De Bruyne for a week. And George Miller will be renamed to Georgie Harland for about a week. No, I'm joking, obviously. In all seriousness, no, that was just wonderful. It was absolutely fantastic, that performance. And like I said in parts of the report match day video, there was the 5-minute spell in the first half where Grimsby kept the ball a bit more than they did. They took control a little bit more. And obviously there was that goal in the second half as well, which conceded, which came from Mitchell's distribution, which he does need to improve still. However, apart from those moments and a couple of half chances for Grimsby to come forward, that game was ours. That absolutely was ours. And I said it on Twitter, I think the best performance, it's definitely the best performance I've seen this season so far. Someone even replied to that, I think, and said it's one of the best performances, if not the best performance in the last couple of seasons. It's absolutely amazing. It was a really good performance. And if we have to be thankful to Gareth Sheffrey for one thing, that's that's bringing in the players that are going to play Schofield's system and building the foundations for what Schofield's just taken over from. So that's the other thing I'll have to thank Sheffrey for in terms of a managing sense. But no, in all seriousness, no, Schofield's got us playing beautiful, beautiful football. I've said it to fans in the stands at half-time. And on the way back as well. Some of them passing triangles, especially in the first half, those little one-touch passing triangles that I saw in the first half at times, it was like watching Sean O'Driscoll football again. It was like watching one-touch, beautiful from-the-back football like Sean O'Driscoll was back in the day, and that classic Arsenal of the North style football. It felt like the identity was there finally, and it's a modern version of the O'Driscoll type football that we saw for most of that game, with the passing triangles, you know, the link-ups between wing-backs with centre-backs, with the double pivot in the midfield, with the wingers, with the striker. Everything seemed to click. Everything seemed to operate. And Danny Schofield has got his team exactly where he wants it to be. Exactly where he wants it to be. And my message to the board, back Danny Schofield. Back your manager. Give Danny everything he needs to bring this squad back into League One and beyond. Give him everything he needs to build this team, because we've got a strong foundation now. There are a couple of players that I don't believe fit this formation, and therefore I don't believe will be here much longer. I'm not going to name names, but there are a couple of players to a few players. You may know one already. For me personally, you give Danny Schofield that backing in January to bring in the first few signings. Then you back him in the summer to bring in another few signings, whether we're in League One or League Two. You know, you still back the manager, or head coach, should we say. But for me personally, the board's absolutely got to back Danny Schofield. Absolutely got to back him. They've really got to support this guy, because we've got a head coach here with a very good and very beautiful style of football here that he's building with this squad. And this is, you know, let's just put into question, shall we? This is Gary McSheffrey's squad, and Schofield's just taken them from satisfactory to beautiful to watch. That's the level of difference I've seen in the first 4 or 5 games. Take the FA Cup away from it. Crew should have got at least a point from it. We did, but we saw signs of what we were starting to see. Stevenage, we lost 1-0, but should have won by about 2, 3 or 4. We were the better team in that game. Gillingham, first half was average, second half was much, much better. FA Cup was a write-off. Ignore that. That was like a one-off where just things didn't click on that day. But then today, against Grimsby, we absolutely bullied them. We blitzed them like the London Blitz. We blitzed them off the park today. And Grimsby, for me, to be honest with you, I was a bit disappointed with Grimsby because I expected a lot more from Grimsby. And that's not disrespecting Rovers or anything like that. I was just generally expecting a bit more from Grimsby because they usually play on the front foot. They play pressing football. I know against Man City in the Cup, they had to sort of City Academy, just for context. No context, we're here. No, against City Academy in the Cup, they had to sort of ease off a bit with the Academy youngsters, so they can ease off if they wanted to. But what we did, we forced them to go long, and we forced them to sit deep and invite pressure. Yes, they had, looking at the stats, they had the majority of the ball, but we did better with what we did when we had the ball. Out of possession, it was all about defending our shape. It was all about collectively banding together, pressing against the opposition. And in possession, it was about making the most of the chances. And I tell you what, the finishing tonight. Now, this is the reason why I've nicknamed 3 particular players. Carl Noyle equals Carl Cafu for 1 week. And this is why. And the main reason comes from that assist for one of Miller's goals. It is a straight bloody run, a Cafu-like run, ball over the top, and Miller just puts it in. It is textbook wing-back brilliance from Carl Noyle, and rightly man of the match today. George Miller becomes Georgie Harlan. He gets 2 tonight. He's 1 away from his biggest total of his senior career so far, which was 12 on loan at Walsall from Barnsley the previous season. So he's on his way to beating that. We do have Colchester bottom of the league next weekend, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But overall, my word, Miller was good tonight. And Harrison bloody Biggins, Harrison De Bruyne, is the most improved player since Schofield came into the club. He's turned into an absolute wonder strike. He's turned into an absolute wonder player with a wonder strike. And he's not afraid to hit them. So I'm just saying, go for it, pal. Go for it. Because he just has no fear of these kind of shots. Mitchell, the main thing I said tonight, improve your distribution. He's done that in places. The goal was his fault because it came out from the back from him. The distribution, or the variety of distribution, needed to have been a lot better of a choice in that situation. So I would have tried to go long maybe rather than, you know, as we saw. I would have tried to go for a bit more of a long one just to try and clear it away from a bit more danger. But that's by the by. Overall, I think that apart from that goal, like I said, in the 5 minutes of Grimsby getting the ball a bit more and getting the control of the tempo of the game a bit more in that first half, and the Grimsby goal in the second half from John McAtee, which in the end was a good finish, but it came from the distribution. Apart from those 2 moments, it was pretty much us for the game. And like I said, I was a bit disappointed with Grimsby because I expected a bit more from them. But we put them under the pressure and we backed them into a corner today, which was fantastic. So let's go into player ratings then. Mitchell 7, decent rating for him. I've gone with Maxwell and Noyle at the wing backs. Maxwell 7, Noyle 9, man of the match by a mile. Long, Williams, Anderson in the centre-back 3 I've gone with as 7s. Long, obviously, Williams and Anderson. Anderson, obviously, in the centre. Williams out on the right. Obviously, you got Close and Biggins. They both get 8s for me. Both did very well in the midfield, controlled the tempo, covered quite a lot of ground. Hurst 7, a little bit off the pace, but I think Hurst still did all right. He's still got that tricky feet about him, and I saw one moment in the second half where he used that tricky feet, and I could see what he's trying to do. So again, there is that player in there. Schofield's got the confidence out of Molineux now. Now it's Hurst's turn. Don't forget, he wasn't 100%. I think it looked like he was limping after the Kings Lynn match, so I wasn't expecting 100% from him, but I think he did all right. Molineux 8 on the other side. Again, just working down that right with Noel just works like an absolute T. Miller 9 up front, brilliant, close to being man of the match, but obviously I'm going to give it to Noel. Then we've got the substitutes, the manager, and, well, head coach. I have to keep saying head coach now, and the supporters. Clayton 6, Taylor 6, Barlow 6, all came on. Clayton kind of slowed the game up a bit. Taylor didn't make much of an impact. Again, same with Barlow, but did all right when the look come on, looked fresh, which was good to see. Schofield 8, set the right team up, made the right changes just to see the game out and take some of the players that has used the most energy off the field just to add something different in their positions. And the supporters get a 10 out of 10. The supporters were one of the best bits about that trip. The away fans were just stupendous. They were absolutely world class. We outsung Grimsby by a mile. You know, and I was a bit shocked about that. I would have thought Grimsby had been more up for it with the season they're having, because compared to previous seasons, you know, it's been a better season for Grimsby so far. So, for me, I feel like that the fans could have been a lot better. There was a time where I heard them, and it was actually when they scored and we were already 3-0 up. So, but apart from that, I sort of heard peeps out of them here and there, but not a lot from where I was. But probably because I was in the middle of a ginormous bit of atmosphere from Rovers fans, which probably didn't help. Trying to hear the Grimsby fans and see if they were reacting. So, so there we go. It's one of those. But if you're a Grimsby fan, you were in the stands. Comment down below how the atmosphere was from your end. And yeah, so we've got Colchester in the bottom of the league next week. Now, I've said to supporters on the fan counts, which should be out by now already, I said to them, and I'll say it again, do not underestimate Colchester United. They may be bottom of the league, they may not look like they've got no fight, but I'll tell you something now, any team on any given day could beat anyone. Keep that in your minds as football fans. Any team could beat anyone on any given day. Off the performance I've seen tonight, there's no reason at all why we can't beat them. But you still got to be 100% focused to win the game, to earn the right to win the game. But it's one of those things. But that is going to be it for this match day review. Like I said, much better performance than the FA Cup by a million miles. We were right on it today. It was like stepping into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and before you've even seen the first room, you get given a lifetime warrant to own the bloody place. So it just felt like joy on a candy stick. It was brilliant. It was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You know, I've got more magic in me than Mary Poppins tonight, which is fantastic. You know, will it be a Disney-fied performance, or will it have the touch of Maleficent about it next week? But we will find out. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I am the CHALL, Rovers till I die. Ta-ra for now. Super Danny Schofield, come on.